Hi everyone. It's Wednesday, it's 5 o'clock. So here I am again to give you some information that will hopefully be useful to you. So today's topic is become a Salesforce consultant before summer 2026. So you could be sat there thinking, I'm going to break up for the school holidays with the children. And then when they go back, I'm ready to go and start my whole new career. So I'm hoping that I can give you a hand with this. Now, I first of all will say that the pathway that I'm going to give you is quick because we've just said that you will be starting your journey, your career journey after you've finished the learning. But there are longer ways to do it that may be better for you. I recommend that if you're not really sure where to go with this, then just drop me an email. You are very welcome to pop something in the chat if you're here and you're live with me. Then you can put in the chat any questions and I'd be happy to answer them. But if you're not and you're watching on replay, then please reach out to me and I will be delighted to tell you which direction you can go in. So there are many different directions. There are many different careers within a Salesforce role that you can think about and consider. But today I'm going to talk to you about this one really nice, tidy career path that I've put together for you. It's called a Career Boost Bundle. You may have looked into this before and saw there are other Career Boost bundles, but today is all about you getting to where you want to be by the summer of 26. So that's what I wanted to tell you about today. So this is something that I talk to people about every single day, and they say, Lynn, how do I get started with all of this? And, if you're sat there with a clear goal in your mind that you want to be a business analyst or, you want to work as a Salesforce consultant and you think this is going to take me years because that's what you would expect, you can actually learn it. You can learn the foundational knowledge, and I'll talk you through in a second, in 3 weeks, just 3 weeks. Then you can do your consultancy straight after. And that way, as I said, you'll be ready when the children go back to school at the end of the summer. Then, how cool will that be? So if you're sat there thinking, I want to change my career, but I don't know where to start. Now, there can be many reasons that you want to change your career. It could be that you want a better work-life balance and that flexibility to spend time with your family. It could be that you're working and feeling underappreciated. It might be something that there's nowhere for you to go beyond where you are. And of course, it could be something like redundancy, and we all know how awful that can feel. But what I would say is if it's time for change for you, then it can be great. And where they say the grass isn't always greener on the other side, sometimes it absolutely is. So please just think about that. So you might be thinking, I'm going to set myself a nice clear plan, a nice timeline. As we're saying today, it's all about being ready for the summer. You might be thinking, I've started my Salesforce journey, after a lot of people I speak to who are end users within Salesforce and they want to upskill and work and they love the functionality of Salesforce and they want to get into that. So they go and do Trailhead and they learn it on their own. But I always say without that structure and support and guidance that sits behind the ethos of Supermums, that's where it will get you to where you need to be. So if that's you, then today should be for you. I'm just going to double check the chat, just make sure no one has asked me any questions, which currently there isn't. But if you do want to ask me a question, just feel free to drop it in the chat and I will answer you. And I will, as I said, also drop my email in. So if you want to email me with any of your questions post this call, or if you're watching on replay, then please do. This particular session is live, so I am here and I am happy to help. So what I would say is, I think one of the biggest struggles when people decide that they want to move into Salesforce is I don't actually struggle with motivation, but, you know, I struggle with clarity. I mean, I know for me, I did the course, as you probably heard me say. I did a different one, which I'll allude to at the end. But right now, I'm going to just zone in on the particular topic of choice today. But sometimes you think, you know, I'm going to struggle because I haven't got the clarity behind it. I haven't got the where do I start? Where do I go next? How is this going to see me through? So I think that's what I wanted to help you with today is, you know, with you sat there thinking, what do I do first? How long will this take? I know all the questions. How do I stay consistent? And how do I stop doubting myself? Because that's something that we absolutely all do. So as I say, for me, I had done some Trailhead. If you haven't looked at that, feel free to have a look at Trailhead. It's a free resource from Salesforce, so it is great. I still love to do some Trailhead myself now. If it's a rainy day outside on a Sunday, I might sit and catch up on something if I'm given the chance. But for me, I did that. I signed up to a couple of cheap courses as well that, to be honest, I didn't look at because, you know, you can watch YouTube if you want that sort of thing. If you want to, you know, have some on demand, you can do that. But for me, it's all very well us sat here, and I'm sure you're listening to this thinking the same. I'm going to do this on Tuesday morning. I'm going to get up early and I'm going to watch some YouTube videos. But Tuesday comes, and then you think, right, okay, well, before I do that, I'm just going to change my bedding, or I'm going to pop out to the shops, and then you get back and it's too late. I mean, we all know how that happens. So what you need is structure. And that's what I found. I found for me that if someone says to me, Lynn, you have to be here on a Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, then I'll be there. So I think that structure is really paramount for your learning journey. So think about it, you know, as if it's not because you're not capable to do it. It's more about that structure and support, and, you know, this roadmap that you'll hear me talk about, this great pathway to where you want to be. And of course, we all know that you set off on a pathway and it can go, you know, in a different direction. I know how that goes. But to have a clear learning journey, this is going to set you on the right road. Okay. So this is the Career Boost bundle that I want to tell you about. And it's basically structured, I'm going to say in two parts, but this is two learning journey parts. There are way more steps for this, you know, beyond this. But part one of this learning journey is the Supermums Accelerator course. Now, that will get you to be in a position of having sitting your Salesforce Platform Administrator certification. So 3 weeks of learning. So if you've been made redundant and you're sat at home not knowing what to do, this is great for you. If you don't have to be a mum, you don't have to be a woman even. We welcome everyone at Supermums, whether you want to upskill your team or you want to upskill yourself personally, or your husband does. If you're a lady watching this, then absolutely, we welcome you all. So just to go back, part one of the Supermum's Accelerator course to get to that lovely Salesforce platform administrator certification is 3 weeks of learning. As I said, so you learn that in 3 weeks. Part 2 is the instructor-led Salesforce consultancy skill course, which is with our amazing Heather Black, who is our CEO. And this is where you learn how to think and to work like a consultant. It's not just that how Salesforce works and the technical side of it, but it's how to take those skills into a real client-facing meeting. It's about having all of the tools and templates to confidently show up and know what questions to ask, and when you're answered the questions, to know what to say next. So Heather will supply within that course all of the tools and templates. So the certification you will be looking at going for at the end of the Salesforce consultancy course, the Supermum's consultancy course towards your Salesforce certifications and knowledge, would be your business analyst. So at the end of both of these 2 courses, you should be in a position to have your Salesforce platform administrator certification and also your business analyst certification. And whilst this is a learning journey to get those certifications, along the way, you will also pick up lots of tools and tricks and tips. There's AI is, of course, weaved into everything as it is now. But this bundle is not about just getting you trained and certified. It's about getting you consultant ready. And that looks like being able to be in a position to be a Salesforce consultant, a business analyst. We cover project management. We cover NLP coaching. So it's a really nice rounded course for you to be able to get to where you want to be in the Salesforce ecosystem. And how exciting to think that you could do all of this by the summer. So this is the part that people love because it is so clear. I have done an email and sent it to people that I'm talking to. But if you want to get that wow moment for yourself, then drop me an email and I will also forward all of this nice timeline with all the dates and all the nice clear. I set it all up, of course, with the help of ChatGPT, as we all do these days. But it's got all of the clear dates. So this is how the timeline will look for you. The 3rd of March, which is very, very soon, you will be doing your 3 weeks of the Accelerator Admin Training Program, which looks like live sessions, structured learning and support. That will be from the 3rd of March, as I said, until the 26th of March. So within 3 weeks, you will be in a position to take your Salesforce Platform Administrator certification. It does, of course, depend on your learning style as to whether you're ready. You might want to continue doing study groups, which, of course, we're going to help you with as you go through. But if you are ready and you are able to take your certification, you would do that in March and April. And I do normally advise that if you can, because it's all fresh in your muscle memory. You have learnt it. Go and take your cert as soon as you can. Now, your certification you will take direct with Salesforce. But because we're super mums and we give you all of that wraparound and support, we'll tell you and advise you when you're ready to be able to do that. So back to that timeline. 3rd to the 26th of March is your learning towards your Salesforce Platform Administrator certification, which you will look to study and sit in March, April. So 26th of March, it finishes. So then into April. The 21st of April to the 7th of July, you will move straight into your instructor-led consultancy skills course. I will caveat that if you don't feel, after you've learned admin and you're still studying and you're not quite ready to do your cert, which we're going to help you with, if you don't want to do the very next consultancy and you want to keep it in your back pocket, then you can do that, because I can hold your consultancy ready for when you want it. But I'm talking to you about a nice, clear timeline. So admin course, 3 weeks, do your cert, 21st of April to the 7th of July is your instructor-led consultancy course. So how good is that? So the 7th of July through July and August, you will be studying again and sitting your Salesforce Business Analyst certification. You can then sign up with our recruitment team. They will be sending you out job alerts. We are here to support you. I get up every single day for people like you to be able to get into this incredible career. And whilst I can't sit and guarantee that everyone 100% is going to get this great career, we have so many awesome success stories. Have a look on our LinkedIn and on our Instagram and on our Facebook. Have a look on all our social pages. Find super mums and have a look at all of those successful people that have come through our program and come out the other side with these incredible careers. So if you're thinking, you know, the summer hits and you're thinking, I'm still learning, which, I mean, come on, life is all about learning. You don't just stop at the end of any course. Whatever you do in life, every day is a school day. And I'm a real big advocate of that. Lifelong learning is so important. So just keep learning, keep reiterating. But you can actually be, by the end of July, August, you could be in this really great position with 2 awesome certs under your belt. And you could be thinking, right, okay, I'm certified, I'm trained, and I'm ready. So off I go. So I think what you will actually gain from this, as well as your certifications, you're going to get that confidence, because confidence is knowledge. But just consider that the more you know, the more confident you become. Because I speak to people every day with that real big imposter syndrome, and they say to me, Lynn, I can't do this. But why can't you? I did it. So did lots and lots of other people. This current ultimate admin course, which I will just touch on in a minute, I know that that's not about that today, but there are 72 people on it. So 72 people are starting the February ultimate admin cohort, and they're all going to do the same as you, and there's no reason why you are any different to those. Okay, so think about that. Think about that imposter syndrome creeping in. It shouldn't be there. So first of all, you learn Salesforce admin in 3 weeks with structure and accountability. Secondly, you get a tailored plan to support you towards passing that admin exam. Again, we can help and support you. And whilst I said at the beginning about Trailhead, you might find that because it's a 3-week course, we can give you some support on what trailheads to look at. So you can still do that, but I would include that structure as well. So you get your admin certification, you then get that really great support to be the, you know, the admin and the consultant. And just to say on that, the admin certification is always your starting point. That will be your foundational knowledge for a Salesforce career. So you couldn't do it the other way around. Whilst I just will add there, whilst your admin certification is important for you to get, it's not a prerequisite to do consultancy. So whilst you need the knowledge, so you have to learn it, you don't have to go, well, I haven't got my cert yet, so I can't do my consultancy course. But you wouldn't do consultancy without having the knowledge. So whatever path you take, even if you just did admin for now and then decide later, whatever path you take, admin always first. Okay. So I'm just going to break down a little bit on what the consultancy course looks like, because this is where it makes that bundle so powerful, because it includes the agile project management that I mentioned. It includes the BA, and obviously that would be the cert that you'd be going for, the business analyst. Change management. Now, change management is something that probably in my next life I might do, because it's where you go into an organization that is using Salesforce and you enthuse and inspire people and you teach them how to use it. I'd love to have done that. I think you have to be quite enthusiastic, but as you can tell, I'm probably right up there with that. And also back to the consultancy course, it does also include NLP coaching. And honestly, this part is huge, because it makes what someone is employable is not just the knowledge of knowing Salesforce. It's being able to communicate and gather requirements, work with stakeholders, and lead conversations with confidence. There's that confidence word again. And that's what consultants do. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've got a million questions. And I'm just going to check the chat just to see if anyone's dropped anything in there. Okay, there's no questions, but as I say, please feel free to drop them in. I see there are some people online, so you're welcome to drop them in, or as I say, you can send me an email afterwards if you prefer. So there's nothing in the chat right now. Okay. So something else to mention about Supermums, and we wouldn't be Supermums without this, is the support that you get. The community is genuinely awesome, and also mentorship. So we get, something, really to highlight is you're not doing this alone. And that is another important thing to think about, because if you were doing some homework or you were learning something you didn't understand, you can just jump onto the Slack channel, which if you don't know what Slack is, you would know, or the WhatsApp group, whatever you prefer. And you could say to the other people in your cohort, have you done this? Do you understand this? Can you help me with this? So there's a lot of support from the community, from the people that are learning the course, from Supermums directly. You can raise a case at any point and we'll help you with that and we'll support you. And also we have mentors as well. So there's a lot of help and support. There is also career advice drop-in sessions. So you can join the career advice drop-in sessions and find out about optimizing your LinkedIn profile as an example. And I'll touch on personal branding again in a minute. So, when you think about community does help to keep you consistent. I always say that. I think meeting in person is always great. And again, if you're going to an event, pop it onto the Slack or the WhatsApp group and say, I'm in Manchester, or I'm in London, or I'm in Spain, or I'm in Philadelphia. I don't know where that came from. Or like me, I'm in North Devon. There's an event on Tuesday night. Who's coming? And people will arrange to meet you there. So it's really great to be part of this great community. We actually had an event on Monday night in central London. I got the train from where I live in North Devon, and it's just so fabulous to see everyone. It really is, genuinely. So the community is everything. And I think when you're learning alone, that doubt gets really loud. You think to yourself, I can't do this, and you give up too easily. But having people around you that support you and that guide you and that are there to celebrate your successes is just super powerful. I think you go from thinking, I can't do this, to, do you know what? Maybe I can. And I think that is so important when you're doing anything. So let's just talk about the offer that I'm giving you today, because I think that is where it will start coming into, your mind as to whether this is something that works for you. And something I will just say is Salesforce admin is declarative. It's click. There's no coding. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Anyone that can use a laptop can do it. I'm again going to say it's not easy. Of course, it's not easy. Anything that you're going to learn in 3 weeks is not going to be easy. But again, like I say, anything is easy when you know it. So you may start off thinking, what is this? But the things that gradually they start coming in. And then again, like I say, you start getting your confidence. So normally, if you weren't doing the bundle and you were doing this independently, for the accelerator 3-week live training sessions, of course, all online, you don't have to go anywhere, it's £1,950. For the consultancy course on its own, it's 1,500. So that would be a total of 3,450. But what I'm offering you is to take 50% off of that consultancy course when you bundle it. So what you're going to actually pay is $750 for consultancy instead of 1,500. I mean, that's a massive 50% off. So instead of paying that 3,450, you're going to be paying 2,700, that's GBP, or 3,775 euros. Or if you're in America and you're watching this, probably you'll be watching on catch up, it's 3,440 USD. So if you want to take advantage of doing this really great pathway, then speak to me. You can sign up on the website. I can help and advise you if you're looking for payment plans. We do offer payment plans. So again, I can help with that. And just to say, if you're thinking that this is all too quick for me, I'd be surprised if you are, because most people come and say, can I learn it quicker? We do also have something called the Ultimate Admin course. And whilst you can still bundle it and get the 50% off, but the Ultimate Admin course gives you everything. The Ultimate Admin course gives you a work experience project with a real organization, gives you a mentor, it gives you homework, it gives you the help and the support and the guidance that Supermums will give you whatever you do with us. But that one is over 6 months. So if you feel like, I think I need to learn this slower, I did the Ultimate one. And like I say, you can take advantage of that 50% off consultancy if you bundle it. So again, I know that I'm touching on other things. I do tend to do that. But I will just say to you that if you want to be career ready, to be able to go into a career on a CRM that's used by over 90% of the Fortune 500, there are literally thousands of global organizations that use Salesforce, then take advantage of this offer, because it changed my life. And whilst I mentioned about that turning in the road, I did that. I trained with Supermums. Before the course had finished, I'd got a job with them. So whilst you're not all going to come and work for Supermums, I hope you do, but I don't expect all of you will. But sometimes meeting new people, having fresh perspectives on life open doors. So think about that as well. So I will just put in the chat, actually, let me do that now. I'm going to just quickly do that. I'm just going to pop in my email address, and also you need that discount code to get that 50% off. So let me know if you need that. So this is my email address. Ask me if you want to know anything. Okay. And thank you for joining today. Right, so let's go back to that a second. I've come off that. Okay, so couple of other things for you. If you are a marketeer, you don't necessarily need to do the foundational knowledge of admin. You can just jump straight in and do our Marketing Cloud course, and that would be getting you towards what used to be known as the MKT 101, but it's the Salesforce Marketing Cloud Email Specialist. That is a really great one to do if you're watching this and you're a marketeer. So we've got a course for that starting on the 3rd of March also. So any of these courses, let me know. If it's not something you see, just let me know and I'll be able to advise you. If it's something that we do, we have got a couple of courses that might not show on the website currently, but we do occasionally add them in. So, if you're thinking about going down an AI route, we do an Agentforce course. We do Marketing Cloud, we do Data Cloud. There are other things you can do, but if you're brand new, admin, the first one. Okay. So something else I was going to mention before I go, just is, as I said, it's not about you thinking that you have to have all of these certifications right now. It's about having this, I'm starting here, I'm then going to do this, I'm then going to do this, and have a nice clear pathway. Something I didn't mention actually that's worth saying at this point is everything we do is recorded. So if you can't make a live session, you can watch a recording. The other thing I was going to say was if you need help and support, we are here for you. Whether it's now and you want my support to advise you on whether this is for you, then let me know. As I say, drop me an email or find me on socials. You'll find me everywhere, and send me a message. But don't sit there feeling like I'm not good enough, because you absolutely are good enough. So please just think that. Just don't have that imposter syndrome and think, I haven't got a tech background. Because whilst you might not have a tech background, you'd be surprised how many people say to me, Lynn, no, I haven't got a tech background, but they've worked with a CRM, even if it's not Salesforce before. We've had people transition that have been florists. We've got an airline pilot. We've got people that have come from finance background. We've got teachers. We've got NHS. I mean, every different walk of life that you can think of, every different industry that you can think of, we've had people transition. Something I might also add is if you have been finance and whatever industry you've been in, use that as your leverage to go, right, okay, so I'm going to do Salesforce, but within the finance industry, because you've already got that transferable knowledge and the skills that you need for finance, because you know how that works. We don't have to teach you that, but what you will have is Salesforce knowledge to add into the mix. So again, if you are a nurse wanting to change, which again I hear, then there are quite a lot of healthcare providers that use Salesforce. If you're a teacher, there are lots of educational authorities and organizations that use Salesforce. Education, of course, Supermums, we use Salesforce. So, consider that. Take your transferable knowledge, your transferable skills and your industry knowledge with you into your next role. So personal branding, I did say I'd touch on that, and I can't help myself because I always do. But I think it's good for people to clearly see, especially on LinkedIn, Salesforce is massive on LinkedIn, that this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I plan to do. Because I think telling people what you're learning, telling people what you're working towards and what kind of roles you want. We've had many people approach on LinkedIn. So, you might want to Make sure that you shout about what you're doing. Supermums itself is a really well-respected brand in the industry as well. So again, if you say I'm training with Supermums, that's going to also add some leverage for you. So let's be honest with this, and think about the bundle might not be for you right now. You might say, I want these life-changing results. I want to be able to get into Salesforce, but I think I'm going to walk before I can run. And again, you'll hear me say that a lot. If that's you, you can just start with admin. Remember, the #1 foundational knowledge course. You can do either the ultimate or the accelerator. You can learn that, and then you can come back and say, Lynn, I know I'm not going to get 50% off, but I now want to do the consultancy course, or I want to do, the Agentforce course or whatever. So it's nice to have some clarity, to give you some confidence, to have a nice timeline in place. But I don't care who you are, you can do this. Okay, so I'm just going to double check the chat again, and I'll tell you what I will also do. Let me just go and find it. I'm just going to find that the code, because if you're sat there thinking this accelerator bundle looks amazing, I'm going to do it, then let me give you the code to put in. So what you would do is add into the basket the accelerator course and the consultancy course, and then put in this code, and that's where it's going to give you that great discount. Or of course, if you want it to go a bit longer, then you can do the ultimate admin course, and then have the consultancy in the holding room ready for when you're ready. But listen, I've talked a lot. I think I've spoke for nearly 40 minutes. I have nearly 40 minutes. You can tell my passion. You can tell that I love watching people learn. I love watching them grow. I love watching them get their certification and then ultimately going into these really successful careers. It's what I do. It's what I get out of bed for every day. So if you do sign up, I look forward to watching your journey. And if not, if you come back to this in the future, I'm still here. So please come and find me and I'll help you. On that note, I'll see you next Wednesday live at 5, and thank you for watching today. Take care.